All right, class. First off, as always, good day. I'm glad you're here. So today, this lesson is going to be about Hitler. Okay, we're going to be talking about because now we're going to get to World War II. We talked about the struggles going on in Europe in the last video. Now we're going to look at these, basically these dictator people who came up, in particularly two. We're going to be looking at one today, Hitler, and next class we'll be looking at Benito Mussolini. And then we'll be getting into the beginning parts of World War II. Okay, so first off, here is your warm up. Um, so go ahead, answer the questions. First off, again, what do you see? Obviously, the first one, which is, and it's like, you got to put three. What are three things you see in the picture? Um, a little quick thing though, just for your own peace of mind. If you look in the background, if you look at the building, it looks like there's stilts right there, right? It's usually made for either building or destroying things, things like that. So, what do you think? Do you think that that building is being remade? Do you think it's a brand new building? Do you think they're expanding it? Or do you think they're, gonna be like, let's tear it down and then, build another one? So what do you think? Okay, so just keep that in your mind. Okay, so we're gonna be moving on to the notes in three, two, one. Okay, so Adolf Hitler was born on April 20th, 1889. Yes, he was born on April 20th, which is just passed, in Branau, uh, uh, Inn. It's a small town. Uh, well, he got born in an inn, which is basically like a hotel in a small town near the Austrian-German border. Now, his dad was actually a state custom officials, and the thing is, his dad kind of tried to groom him in a sense towards life of being of a kind of like a politician type of thing. But he didn't want that. Hitler was actually didn't want to be in politics like his dad. He didn't want to be part of the government. And the thing is, in school, he really struggled, you know, and eventually he dropped out. Okay, so there's a picture of Adolf when he was a kid. His father, Alias, Alias, I have so much trouble saying his name. But the thing is, he died in 1903, basically from this disease where you basically have water in your lungs, and it's kind of like pneumonia in a sense, but it's just like a little bit worse, like you're basically drowning, you know. Um, and Hitler then was like, you know what? Now that my dad's dead, I'm gonna do what I wanted to do, which was he wanted to be an artist. So he went off and tried to apply for the Vienna Academy of Arts. Now, this school is one of the best, right? I mean, just truly one of the best schools to go to if you want to be a musician, an artist of some form, painter, sculptor. This is the place to go, okay? And the thing is, he's rejected. He sends samples of his work and this and that, and they're like, no, no, this won't do. This is not our level of material, you know. His mom, Clara, she dies in 1908 due to breast cancer. Now, it's at this same time that Hitler says, you know what, I'm going to move to Vienna. And that's what he does. He moves over there and he basically makes a living being one of those guys um, out in the town painting, different places, sceneries, buildings, things like that. And he's selling his art pieces, you know, out in public areas and things like that, just to make a living. Okay. Still trying to get recognized as this great artist, and it's just not happening. Okay. It's then when he's alone that he starts forming these ideas in his head, and he kind of develops an interest in politics because he's looking how things are in Vienna and how things are in life in general. And he starts developing ideas what would eventually become the Nazi ideology, Nazis like principles in a sense. Okay, it starts off when he's young. Okay, we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so Mary, I told you he was an artist, and he painted and things like that. So these are two examples of his artwork. Okay, let me move this little video up a little bit so you can see. There's his name right there. And this one's a lot clearer than this one. I don't know why, but yeah, you can see A. Hitler. And I think that says like 18 or 1919, some of that. Can't really see that too much, but yeah. So here's a couple paintings from him. Okay, so in 1913, Hitler moves to Munich, Germany. Okay, and that's when the war starts to breaking off for World War One. Now, I told you guys in World War One, Hitler was one of the soldiers. Now, the thing is, he was not like, oh, drafted, and it's not because the thing is, he wasn't really truly German. All right, because like I remember telling you, he was on the Austrian-Germany border. By birth, by natural right, he was born in Austria. Okay, um, but he basically petitioned the Bavarian king, and he's like, I want to volunteer in the reserve infantry regiment. He really wanted to fight, and so he went into battle. They said, okay, fine, come on, Will, you want to volunteer? Come on. So he went to battle in October 1914, and he basically served the entire war. Okay, and he won two decorations for bravery. So he got some recognition, and one of them was the Iron Cross. Now, if you look at this picture, you can see it on his chest plate right there, right in his chest area, and he wore that till the day he died. So if you ever look at videos of him and pictures and stuff like that, you will see that he has it on basically all the time. He is so proud of that medal. Okay. Now, the thing is, he is injured. Okay. One time he is shot in the leg at the Battle of Somme, and the other one he's temporarily blinded by a gas attack at the Battle of Ypres. Now the thing is, I told you guys this. He really didn't like mustard gas, and now you know why. Because he was a victim of it. Now remember I told you when you're when you're directly in it, yeah, that's when you're choking, the gas is in your lungs, this and that, you can't breathe and things like that, and your eyes, you go blind, this and that. But I told you guys also, if you're on the outskirts of it, you can still get sick. You can have lung trouble, you can have vision problems, and that's what happened to him. It got in his eyes, and he temporarily lost sight, but he got it back. Okay. Now the thing is, Hitler, like a lot of Germans, at the end of World War One, they didn't believe they actually lost. They were like, no, we could have kept fighting. We could have went to the last man, and oh, we could have came back. We are amazing soldiers and this and that. But they blamed the loss on their quote unquote patriotic leaders. These leaders who were like, oh yes, Germany is the greatest, this and that, and then here they go surrendering to a country that a lot of these German soldiers feel they could have beat. So a lot of soldiers, World War One veterans of Germany, felt that they didn't lose the war. It was basically their leaders quit on them. Okay, that's going to play a role later on. Okay, okay. So in late 1918, Hitler returns to Munich and he joins a small group called the German Workers' Party. Now, the goal of this group, is to basically unite the interests of the working class with a strong government or strong nationalism for Germany. Okay, these are people. Now remember, nationalism when you feel pride in your country. Okay, so they want basically working class people, people who are actually working, and not, oh, I am the owner of a company. I'm going to work for 5 hours and get paid 20 times as much as the workers. Type of thing. He want the factory workers and things like that, people who are working on the field, things like that. Um, but they also wanted people to feel proud to be Germans. Again, that's what nationalism is, when you feel proud about your country. Um, it's there, that his public uh, and charisma, energies develops more and more because he's out there talking to people, trying to recruit, you know. And as he continues day after day going out in different areas, talking to people and trying to um, talk about their group, he's starting to his public speaking is starting to get really good. You know, he's starting to realize if you do this, if you talk like this, if you know, show some of, and people will come to you. You know, now he climbs up the ranks, and in 1920, he leaves the army and takes over basically the Workers' Party. You know, their propaganda effort. Again, trying to persuade people he's now the leader, and he renames the group. He says, "Now, since I'm the leader, we're going to change the name to the National Socialist German Working Party." Another word for that, Nazi. Okay. Now, what they did was that they said, you know what? A name is one thing, okay, but we need a symbol. We need a symbol, something that when people see it, they're like, aha, okay. And what they did was they took, it's not even they created it, they took a symbol, an ancient symbol from the Buddhists. Now, there's a picture of it right there. It's called the Hakenkreuz, which means hooked cross as their symbol. So as you can see on the statue, it's right side, like that. But what the Nazis did is they basically took the same symbol and tilted it, you know. And so now, since then, the world, when they see that symbol, they think, oh, that's Nazis, this and that. But in Tibet, it's like, I think it's like a good luck charm, you know. So you can see the power of symbols with that. Okay. Now, many of the people who were upset, the upset soldiers in World War One, a lot of them joined the Nazi Party. And the thing is, like I said, Hitler was one of them. And when Hitler was out there talking this and that, he'd be like, somebody around his age is not like, you, weren't you, did you fight in the war? Did we lose? No, we didn't lose. Exactly. Join us. We believe we're the greatest. This and that. You did not lose the war. You did not lose. It was these leaders, they're the ones who quit on us. They're the ones that we could have fought, kept fighting, right? Yeah, we could have kept fighting. Yeah, see, we could have done it. And then from there, you draw more people, you know. So that's what happened. One of the most notable was this Ernst Röhm. This guy, he was a big deal. And what he did was he started recruiting these other guys he knew from the war, and they created a group called the Starballangum. Sartalong. Okay, I'm just not even trying anymore. I'm killing it. Basically, they became known as the Storm Division. Okay, SA. Okay, and they were basically used as the muscle. Okay, and like when they had a meeting, basically they were like the bouncers. You know, they're the guys outside. So if anyone caused a ruckus or try to hackle Hitler and all the other people talking, that group would come in and then just start beating up the people. Or if another different political group started saying stuff about them, they would attack that group. Okay. Okay, so here is the first set of questions. First question is this: why do you think it's important for a group or organization to have a symbol? Okay, so we talked about the Nazi with the symbol. What are some possible reasons why a group would attach their name to a symbol? Okay, so think about that. Now, if you're having trouble with this first question, do me a favor, just go to the next question because this might help you out. And it's basically this: list as many companies as you can without looking them up. So here are some symbols. Let me move my little video thing up here. So there are symbols I put right there from different companies. See if you can name all of them. If you can name all but one, awesome. If you can name, all but like two or three, whatever, great. No problem. Good job. Then that should help you answer the first question. Okay. So try to list as many you can without looking it up. Um, do not ask people around you, your brother, sister, mom, dad, whomever is around. Don't ask them. Try to answer it yourself. Okay. Now, maybe later on, after you submitted it, this and that, you can go back and be like, okay, this is bugging me, mom, dad, older brother, sister, whoever. What's this one? Then that's fine. Okay. But for this assignment, just name as many you can. And I'm sure some of you guys can answer all of them, with no problem. But again, that second question should really help you answer the first one. Okay. So go ahead, finish that up, and I'm going to be moving on in three, two, one. Okay. So in November 8th, 1923, members of that SA group forced their way into a large beer hall where there was another meeting by a far right group. Now the thing is, the group that was already there, Hitler, went in and he's like, "Hey guys, we should join forces instead of fighting each other, this and that." Now, the thing is, he's holding a gun this time. He's like, "We should join forces and we should basically proclaim that we are going to start a national revolution. What do you say?" Now, you could say that they maybe felt intimidated with the gun or that they truly believed in what he said. But the thing is, they left with him and they went to the center of Munich. And thing was, just so happened there was cops there, and who knows, maybe they heard about the busting into the beer hall, and somebody called the cops like, "Hey, there might be some crap going down downtown. You may want to go over there, or at that beer hall." And so the cops went, and they just happened to meet. What ended up happening? There was a gun exchange. Right? They start firing at each other. Bah, 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 bah. Hitler ducked out. Right? He ducked out, just gone. But later, the cops got him and those other rebel leaders, and they were arrested. Now, the thing is, the beer hall kind of revolution startup thing was seen as a failure, even though they really didn't start anything. It did, however, put Hitler on the map because now people were starting to talk about how this guy Hitler is starting to unite people, and that how he's um, fighting in a sense to start something new, have a change in this country, you know. Um, and then some people from the right wing basically saw Hitler as a national hero. Here's somebody, remember, they believe in the same thing. They see him as like, oh, look at this guy doing something. He is doing something. Whereas the politician not doing nothing, this guy, he's doing something. He's trying to do a change. I like that. So again, like I said, they believe the same thing he does, and they think he's so great. Okay, now there's a picture of him right there, along with some of these other guys. So if you notice, you know, all these guys, you know, Hitler's right there. Okay, so Hitler again, he's arrested. He's goes to trial. He's found guilty and charged with treason. Now he was originally supposed to serve 5 years in jail, but he basically got out in 9 months. Okay. Now, during those months, he's like, well, I'm in prison. I might as well do something. So he started putting down his thoughts and his philosophy down on paper. And he wrote a book while in jail called Mein Kampf, which means My Struggle. And it was published in 1925. Now, the thing is, in the book, he talks about nationalism. How you should be proud of your country and proud where you're from and things like that. But a lot of it was anti-Semitic. Anti-Semitic means anti-Jewish. Points of views on the world and life and things like that. Um, and again, those ideas began back when he was in Vienna. Now, remember I told you guys I was going to play a role later on. Now it's come to fruition. Now it's coming true. And he basically laid out the groundworks for Germany and how the world uh, would be and how they could do it if he came to power. You know, how Germany would be this ultimate power and this and that. And, guys, uh, I've read the book. Now I can't say I read the whole thing because the little part I did read, I was like, this fool is nuts. It is very anti-Semitic. It is just like, what in the world is this fool? Oh my God, this is horrible. But at that time, especially the people who believe what he believed, they thought this. Oh, yeah, see, yep, that's true. That's true. Because again, they thought like he thought. So of course, here it is in a book. They think, oh, yeah, yeah, it's so true. Um, Now the thing is, he wrote the second half when he got out. You know, and the thing is, the book actually did okay. You know, when he first got out, but when he became the chancellor and then ended up being the dictator of Germany, that book shot up like no one's business. There was only one book that beat his, and that was the Bible. I know. So by 1940, his book has sold 6 million copies. And this is a picture of his book. I believe that's the German version. I can't remember what year that one was, but that's his book. Okay. All right. Now here's the thing. Hitler was obsessed with race and ethnic purity. Okay. And he believed that the Aryan race, the quote unquote white race, was the purest and the strongest. He was like, you guys are the best. You're the awesomest. Blonde hair, blue eye, things like that, chiseled chin and things. Perfect. You know, in his book, again, he addresses the need for living spaces, that Germany has struggled, you know, that they need to expand and they need to take over the land that was once theirs. And that land is taken by people who are less than you. The word they used was inferior. Okay. So he's like, the German people, the Aryan people, you are up here. You should not be letting these people who are down here to you or even lower take your land. Ugh, how? Oh, that's just wrong. That's not right. So people like who were Slavic, people who were in Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Russia, um, and places like that. He's like, yeah, no, that's your land. That's your land. That's not theirs. You should take it back. Now, for the most part, during the mid 1920s, Hitler basically kept a low profile. Okay, he wasn't like how he was before. He was out there shouting and this and that, um, but he kept it low. Okay, he reorganized and reshaped the Nazi Party and basically created this new group called the Hitler Youth. And this is this is a trip. Okay, um, basically the Hitler Youth is kind of like in a sense like the Boy Scouts. You know, kind of similar to that. Try to train the kids young to believe this certain ideal so that when they get older, that's all they believe in. Okay. Now, it goes to the notion that hate is not, you're not born with it, you're taught it. And basically, that's what this group is doing. They're teaching kids that you, the Aryan people, you are superior, and these other people who are not are inferior. So you are up here, they are down there, so you are above them. Okay. Another thing he does is he creates this new group, the Protection Squad, and they are now with a new name. They're called the SS, and they're like another alternate group to the SA. If you remember those the guys from before. Okay. Now the members of the SS wore this black uniform, and they had to take um, a personal oath of loyalty to Hitler. You know, and there was this guy in 1929 named Heimlich Himmler, and he basically made sure that the SS grew, and they grew from 200 people to basically being a dominant force in Germany. Okay, and they would eventually terrorize Europe, during World War II. All right, now this right here is the oath they would say right there, and it says, or they would say this at the beginning, and they would say this constantly while they were soldiers. They would say, "I swear by God this holy oath that I want to ever loyally and securely serve my people and fatherland, and be prepared as a brave and obedient soldier to risk my life for this oath at any time." Look at the words. Um, Second line, I want to ever loyally. They're basically saying, I want to, be loyal. You know, um, the fifth line, and be prepared as a brave and obedient soldier. Now, when you're an obedient person, you listen just without question. Okay, you don't question why you're being told. You just do it. Okay, now when we get to more into World War II, you're going to see where that obedience, how far those soldiers will go. Okay, and the last line, to risk my life for this oath at any time. In a sense, I'm ready to die for this fatherland, for you, anytime. Okay. So, yeah. All right. So this is the last part of the lesson, the three questions. Why do you think Hitler is trying to convince the German people that they are pure people? Okay. Why do you think he's so adamant about convincing them that they are the purest and the best um, people in the world? Okay. Second question is, how long do you think it would take people to actually believe that they're superior if they're basically told day in, day out by their political leaders, quote unquote scientists who are trying to say, oh, the head structure of the Aryan people is perfect compared to people from Britain, from Africa, from, that Latin America area, you know, the Asian people, their heads are smaller, they're deformed, or this and that, but Aryan, perfect. And other intellectuals, professors, teachers, people who are considered to know stuff and has a public trust. How long do you think it would take? Do you think it would take weeks, months, years? Think about it. Okay, how long do you think it would take, and why? Why that long? You know. Now, here's the thing. This question, I know it's kind of like, it may seem like, oh, I want you to give a definitive answer. But if you can think of something else, like, well, it kind of depends on this and that. Okay, explain to me. Explain to me how. Okay. Um, Again, this is a writing prompt. It's to help you. It's not necessarily this is what you have to do. This is really to help you. And again, if you want to branch off on your own, great, but make sure your response is in um, correct sentence form. Don't just put 2 weeks because no, write it out like how I have the writing prompt. I think, I believe, and go on from there. Okay, but like I said, if you have a thought like, oh, it depends on this and that, then explain to me. Okay, guys. I mean, I really want to know what you think. The last question is I want to know what you personally think. So if you want to go back to the video, you can, by all means, go for it. But what are your thoughts on the SS oath of loyalty? All right, so what do you think? Why do you think Hitler and Himmler made sure the soldiers said and repeated this oath? Okay, so again, if you want to go back and look what it says, I mean, really look what it says. And why do you think they made the soldiers say this and repeat it and repeat it and repeat it over and over again. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. Hopefully you learned something new. So again, this is not the end of we're talking about Hitler and World War II and Nazi Germany, some of that. We are going to be continuing that in a little bit. But like I said, we need to talk about several people. First, we're going to talk about these dictators, these emperor people who come up. The next one's going to be Benito Mussolini. We're going to be talking about him in the next one. Okay, so Hitler first, then him, then we'll more likely go into the Allies, all right, which I'm going to be talking about in class, or I should say, have talked about class. All right, so that's it. Again, guys, stay safe. All right, um, you know, help out your family in any which way that you can, and I'll see you guys later. All right, so take care, be safe, have fun.